Good morning. I've come to Shefford Industrial Park to make this little video about business. These are the people that create the wealth of the country, and they're the people that neither the Labour Party nor the Conservative Party give a tinkers about. I can prove it to you in respect of the Conservative Party. I don't know whether you know, but between £100,000 and £123,000 you pay tax at 60% in this country. That is the largest percentage of tax in the whole of Europe. And who does it affect and what does it stop? Well, I tell you, a client phoned me up and said that his engineers were no longer going to fly to Germany in the morning to be on the 6 o'clock flight out from their airport to get into Germany to maintain the equipment that he'd sold and work there all week and come back on the last flight on Friday night to be with their family at the weekend, and do that week in, week out, and pay 60% tax. They were quite happy to work in this country, but they weren't going to earn the export income that this country so desperately needs. Bimaf Al-Armi, Rishi Sunak and the Treasury have known about this anomaly, this fiscal drag, for a long time. Wonder why you can't get a senior doctor, a surgeon? Because of this fiscal drag. They don't want to do operations, extra operations, in February and March when they're going to pay 60% tax. But that is the kind of idiocy that the Conservatives ruled this country with for the last 14 years. I ran a small business, the Orchard Tea Gardens in Grantchester, quite famous. We were suffering like mad post-COVID. We had 40% inflation. My electricity bill went from 14,000 to 108,000. Eventually I saw my local MP, but also I went to see Bimaf Al-Armi. He was completely and utterly useless. We needed a reduction in VAT from 20% to 10% if we had any chance. And he did nothing, completely and utterly nothing to help business. He just taxed us and taxes us and taxes us into oblivion. So there we are. We have the Conservative Party, a party professing to be the party of business, and it is completely and utterly useless. Excuse my language, but they couldn't give a shit about you. On the other hand, I'm standing in Shefford, where my Labour opponent rents a house, claiming to be local, although the 10 years before he won the Mid-Beds by-election, he lived and served on a council of North London as a junior cabinet minister. His experience: did maths in school and then was a box ticker at the Bank of England. He knows nothing. He simply knows nothing about what it requires to run a business. Has he ever given a personal bank guarantee? Has he ever guaranteed a property? Has he ever not taken any wages for months on end because his company's had a bad debt? Has he ever filled in a VAT return? Has he ever filled in a PAY return? He's done none of those things. He hasn't got the foggiest about what it takes to run a business. Has he ever got on an aeroplane and flown thousands of miles to win export orders for this country? No, he has not. Ladies and gentlemen, Bimaf Al-Armi has lost here. Don't worry about him. But please tell me, if you want wealth generation, if you want this country to be a success, why on earth would you vote into office someone who has no business experience at all? My CV, 20, 30 years of running businesses, of sitting on hospital boards, turning the Hertfordshire, the QE2 hospital, from the worst performing trust to the best performing trust in the region. Years sitting on turning around Regent's College and the European Business School, turning it from loss-making into profit-making, and now, along with colleagues, academic colleagues, I didn't do it by myself, turning it into an academic institution. a guy that has started businesses, started technology businesses, a guy that's flown to the Andes to look at hydroelectric power stations, has stood on wave machines to see how wave generation is produced, a guy who has done the maths for setting up tidal lagoons. You want somebody to represent you who knows what it's like to have a sleepless night when they can't pay the staff in the morning, instead have to go without an income themselves. It's tough out there. It's really tough out there. And that's why you need someone like me, who knows what it's like to be on the sharp end of business, to represent you over the next 5 years. Please, please vote Reform, vote Charles Bunker on the 4th of July. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.